The most fucking glamorous girl I've seen on this road. Can I ask your name?
Sure.
Okay, right. So the reason I want to show this one now, it turns out this girl's got a boyfriend, or she says she's got a boyfriend at the end, right? It doesn't really matter. The reason I wanted to show this was because I like the ballsiness of the approach. Now, obviously, as you can see, this is in the nighttime. So this is kind of spring, summer. Nowy Świat, which is the main street in Warsaw. It's at night. There's obviously people outside these restaurants, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of a party, kind of an atmosphere. But I just walk up to her and I basically say, you're the fucking hottest girl I've seen on this street, okay? It's very ballsy. It's very direct. And she fucking likes it. And she's not even Polish. She's American. Well, she's Kenyan, actually. But she's, well, we find out that she's lived in America, or she's been brought up in America. So let's watch this again. Sorry, you
The most fucking glamorous girl I've seen on this road. Can I ask your name?
Shar.
Sorry?
Shar.
Shar?
Yeah.
Troy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You don't sound like you're from Poland?
I'm not.
All right, so a couple of things there. So, firstly, you can see the sort of extended handshake that we're having here. So I'm shaking her hand, but deliberately I'm kind of holding onto her hand for, you know, a bit longer than you normally would to establish that kind of touch, that kind of intimacy early on. The other thing as well is I deliberately use the word fucking. So I say, you're the most fucking glamorous girl I've seen on the street, right? That's deliberate. It's not just because I like cursing, although I do. I'm trying to be as brash as I can be. Okay, now this sort of approach tends to work better at night. I've done this kind of thing, as I told you, in Miami as well, even more forcefully actually than this. And you know, like at night, it's a bit different because people have had a few drinks and they're out to party and blah blah blah. It's kind of harder to pull this sort of thing off, you know, if it's the middle of the daytime on a rainy Tuesday. But the key thing about this really is it's good to go in with some impact, right? It's good to go in and with some welly and actually create an impression straight off the bat, okay? And be polarizing and just own it, right? I just go in there and own it. I say she's fucking glamorous. She could have told me to fuck off, right? I mean, like I had no idea before I went into this how she was going to react. As it is, she reacts pretty well. She probably reacts pretty well because, though I say it myself, I'm not looking too bad here. And also because it's very ballsy and it's very confident, okay? We were talking about dominance earlier when we went through the list, okay? This is an example of it, a small example of it in action, right? You're going in there, you're being unapologetic, you're not trying to hide your intentions, you know, you're just saying it like it is and let the chips fall where they may. And as we see, you know, she appears to respond well.
I'm from Kenya.
From Kenya?
Yeah.
Oh, really? And you're living here now, or you're, what, study, or?
Working.
Working.
Yeah.
Working girl.
Yeah.
You're a high-powered businesswoman.
Soon.
So once again, you will see that the eye contact is strong. I think one thing that I tend to do quite well is the eye contact. So regardless of whatever bullshit I'm saying, I am looking quite intently, right? And that is very, very important, okay? Because it shows confidence, it shows the underlying sexual intent, and it shows that you're not afraid of her or you're not trying to sort of hide anything, okay? The other thing as well is, I mean, like I say, everything has to fit together. Now, I believe that I'm actually in better shape now because I'm working with a personal trainer. I think I'm in better shape now than I was then. But I have to say, compared to the last video, I think I look pretty decent here. I mean, the black shirt, I think, looks good. Obviously, you know, I'm not overweight. I've got the white trousers on here. I think the haircut looks good and everything. So I'm working with what I've got, and I'm kind of maximizing what I've got, and I look, I think, pretty decent, okay? On top of which, I'm coming across as being very confident and quite playful and quite fun and a bit naughty, and the things we mentioned, you know, a little bit risque, adventurous, you know, willing to go outside of the norm and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, you know, this girl's responding well.
What do? You look like you work in fashion or something.
No, I just came from dinner.
Sorry?
I work in something a little bit more boring, supply chain management.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Supply chain management.
Yeah.
So, when you're talking about, you know, what they do for work and all that kind of stuff, because obviously, as I said, you've got the two things running at the same time. You want to be doing the Riz, but equally, you want to be trying to find out a bit about them as well and understand, you know, where they're coming from and so on. So she reveals that she works in, drum roll please, supply chain management. Now, you don't have to treat everything with kid gloves, okay? What I do here is I go, supply chain management, Jesus Christ, that's fucking boring, okay? Because it is, or it sounds very boring anyway, right? So busting her balls a bit about things like that is a fruitful thing to do, because what you don't want to do is be that nodding dog chump who's like, oh, supply chain management, wow, oh, that's cool, oh, tell me more, because it sounds fucking boring, okay? And actually, you know, I'm not sure if I do it here, but you can even play more on the dichotomy between the fact that, well, you look like such a fun, glamorous girl, and yet you're working such a boring thing. Like, what the fuck is that about? I had this actually with an ex of mine who was an accountant, and she was a, you know, fun, glamorous girl, and it's like, well, what are you doing such a boring job, right? It's mind-blowing. So you don't have to take everything that they say 100% seriously. In fact, really, you shouldn't take everything seriously. You should try to make a joke and be playful about as much as you can.
Chain management. That's got to be really fucked up at the moment, right? I mean, like,
It was. It's a bit better.
You've handled it though, right?
Sure.
You have an American accent. Did you go to a like international school?
No, I lived there for a few years.
I'm sorry. Whereabouts?
Okay, so, you know, you've got to give me props for that one. That's quite a good joke. So she says, I say, you've got an American accent. She says she lived there for a bit. I say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. So again, you know, busting her balls. You don't have to be reverent about everything that she says. You can be fun. You can be playful. In fact, you should be doing that. You can be challenging. You know, be a little bit sort of outside of the box with this stuff, you know?
You have an American accent. Did you go to a like international school?
No, I lived there for a few years.
I'm sorry. Whereabouts?
Now, I do laugh at my own joke there, which is not actually the best thing to do, but I think I get away with it because I delivered the line quite well. So I kind of laugh at it, which I think is okay. I mean, generally speaking, you want to try to avoid laughing too much at your own jokes. I think if I'd have been completely poker faced there, it may have spoiled the moment a little bit. Yeah, you know, the key thing is try to be cocky, try to be a little bit funny sometimes. Don't just... what you don't want to be doing is having this super logical linear conversation like it's with some dude or with somebody you're trying to network with at a networking event.
Whereabouts?
In Texas.
Really? How was that? Good?
It was good.
Yeah? I kind of want to go to Austin, actually. I heard it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah. So you're based here the whole time, are you?
Yeah.
So that was sort of some genuine interest there. I mean, she said that she lived in Texas. You know, I haven't been to Texas. I have, you know, I quite, you know, so sometimes somebody will say something and it does genuinely spark your interest. You know, oh, okay, that's cool. And if that's the case, you can express that. It's absolutely fine to express that, you know, and even to ask them about the place. I mean, I didn't ask her. I could have asked her more probably, but you know what I mean? Like like sometimes they'll say something like, oh, actually, that is genuinely, I want to find out more about that.
Well, look, I mean, I know you're on your way to dinner. Another time, I would love to take you. I'd love to take you for a Nero's lemonade.
So obviously, you know, I'm trying to now get her to go on a date, or at least I'm asking her for the number. And I think I quite like the way I do it. You know, I want to take you for a Nero's lemonade. So I'm not making it too serious. It's not this like super like, oh my God, you know, I'd love to take you for a 3-course dinner or something. I'm just making a fucking joke about it, right?
Have you got WhatsApp?
I have a boyfriend. That's what I have.
I have a boyfriend. That's what I have. Tell me in the chat if you believe her. I think she's probably telling the truth here. I think the way she says it is quite coquettish, quite flirtatious. I have a boyfriend. That's what I have. So she knows what's up, right? She knows you know, and this is important, right? She knows I'm not there to try and be friends with her. I'm not trying to be like her gay best friend. I'm not trying to be her styling assistant. Thank God, Brittany Venti. But I'm hitting on her, right? And so she shuts me down pretty quickly because it's pretty fucking clear what's happening. Now, actually, this is good because it's far better to get to the point of decision more quickly rather than being, you know, imagine if I ended up going on 3 dates with her or something like that and then she's actually not interested, or she has we go on these friend dates and then she's got a boyfriend or something. You want to cut to the chase quickly. You want to present as the guy who's, you know, he's a bit of a player. She knows what he's there for. She's flattered. She finds it fun. Maybe she finds it a bit sexy in the moment, but then she puts that barrier down and she's like, no, I've got the boyfriend, whatever, fine. It's better to get to that point of decision, okay? I think she was telling the truth here. I could be wrong. Who knows? It doesn't really matter, because even if she wasn't, to be honest, if it's a rejection, that's fine. It's still better to plow through these things as quickly as possible, okay? But to try and do so in a manner that is kind of entertaining and engaging and fun and, you know, is a good vibe for both of you, which I think is achieved here.
You've got a boyfriend?
Yeah.
I'm devastated right now.
Sorry.
But it was beautiful to meet you.
It was nice meeting you. You're really nice.
All right,
Thank
good to see you.
Have a good
See you later.
night.
Good night.
So there you go. She says I was really nice, and I think it was a fun interaction. I think, you know, I mean, tell me what you reckon in the comments, but I think that it was quite cool. I think that, you know, we both came away from it, you know, it was a nice little thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I quite liked it anyway. I like the sort of the ballsiness of going in there. What are people saying here? It's great watching an artist apply his craft. Your next line, I'm curious to hear. She was soaking up your attention and validation, then bawled when things got hot. But so what, really? I mean, I think if you're saying no free attention to these 304s or that kind of thing, I think, look, I mean, for me to have a conversation like that, I mean, how long did that last? Like 2 minutes or something like that? Like less? You know, to have a fun little conversation with her. She probably is seeing somebody because why wouldn't she be realistically? It is not a huge imposition on me or my time, okay? But if I do that, 5 times in the night, what's probably going to happen is I'm going to find somebody who, they are available, they are down, and it's going to go from there, okay? But there is an element of a numbers game with this stuff as well, right? You have to be prepared for rejections, even a nice rejection like that. It's still kind of a rejection. She doesn't say, right, I want to come home with you, Troy. But I think, it was a good interaction. And the great thing about all of this stuff as well is it compounds on itself. So if you go out and you do that 10 times, right, by the end of the night, you're going to be on fucking fire. You're going to be like a rock star, okay? There's going to be nothing that can take you down because you're going to be so on point. The momentum is going to be so high. So you can think of it in terms of the individual wins. Did you get her number? Did you get a date with her or not? Okay, that's one thing. But then the bigger picture is you want to be always practicing the craft. You want to be always practicing your social skills because the problem a lot of you have is you're sitting there behind the computer, metaphorically or literally eating your Cheetos, and you're not actually fucking talking to anybody. And the reality is we need to be getting out there and we need to be talking to girls a lot more, okay? Because the dating apps, fine, I get people tweeting me all the time saying, well, everyone meets on the dating apps now, so what the fuck, Troy? And I'm like, well, I don't really give a damn what everybody else is doing, all right? Because if they want to do that, that's fine. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having the dating apps going in the background, but man, you need to be out there and you need to be meeting people in real life. Because as you can see, would she have matched with me on Tinder? Probably not. I mean, I don't know, but probably not, right? But in real life, right, I get quite a good response. So, there's a marked difference between what happens on a dating app and what happens when you're kind of quite ballsy and you meet people in real life.